Have you ever wondered why a man can spend months, even years, by your side, but still never truly commit to you? He asks you out, he texts you, he shows interest, but when it comes time to introduce you as his girlfriend, his partner, or even as part of his life in front of others, he backs away. It's as if there's an invisible barrier that he can't or won't cross. And here's the key point. This isn't chance, nor is it a lack of opportunity. There's a reason. In fact, there are only 3 truths hidden in the male mind that explain why he won't commit to you. If you've been through this situation, you know how much it hurts. You feel that something is wrong. You feel that you give more than you receive. You feel that you're good enough for private moments but never for public ones. It's like being treated as an option, not a priority. And that, over time, undermines your self-esteem, creates insecurity, and makes you doubt your own worth. And here's the cruelest detail. Many women believe that if they try harder, if they are more understanding, if they are more patient, the man will finally take that step. But the truth is that when a man doesn't commit to you, the decision is almost always already made in his head. He may even like you. He may even feel attraction. But there are psychological barriers that speak louder than feelings. And I need to be very clear. These barriers are not excuses. They are explanations. When you understand these 3 truths about the male mind, you stop wasting your time. You stop waiting for changes that will never happen. You begin to see beyond the pretty words and empty gestures and finally realize what is really going on. Now, you may be asking yourself, but what are these 3 truths? Does he not commit to me because he doesn't like me? Because he has someone else? Because he's afraid of commitment? Breathe. Throughout this video, I will guide you step by step inside the male mind to reveal each of these secrets. And I'll tell you right now, most women have never heard these truths so clearly, and when you hear them, you will begin to connect the dots in your own story. Before we get into the explanations, I want you to do a mental exercise. Think about a relationship you've had, or even the one you're in now. Remember how this man behaved when you were alone. Remember the words, the promises, the affectionate messages. Now compare that to how he acted in public, on social media, among friends, with family. Do you feel the difference? It's as if there were 2 versions of him, one that embraces you in silence, and another that hides you in the real world. This difference is not random. This public disappearance is a powerful sign. It's like a silent alarm that the male mind triggers when he knows deep down that he doesn't want to, or can't, give you the space you deserve. And that's why you need to stay with me until the end. Because when you discover these 3 truths, you free yourself from illusions. You begin to see clearly who is on your side out of interest, who is there for convenience, and who is truly willing to commit to you. Many women think that if they are even more understanding, the man will change. Others believe that time will solve everything, but I want to show you that this is not quite the case. The male mind works on a different level. It is more logical, more strategic, and often more selfish than it seems. So if he doesn't commit to you, it's not because he doesn't love you. It's because one of the 3 hidden truths is guiding his behavior. And I'll give you a warning. Some of these truths will hurt. They will remind you of moments you tried to forget. They will open your eyes to things you may not have wanted to see. But it is precisely this pain that will give you strength. Because when you understand the truth, you gain power. So prepare your heart, because what I'm about to reveal here may change the way you view relationships from now on. And I guarantee you, after this video, you'll never waste your time with someone who doesn't commit to you again. I want you to imagine a situation that may have already happened to you, or to a close friend. Maria met Rafael through a group of mutual friends. From the first date, the connection was instant. Long conversations, easy laughter, obvious chemistry. Before long, they were going out frequently. Rafael sent her messages every day, said sweet things like, "You're special," made travel plans, talked about the future. When they were alone, Maria felt like the most important woman in the world. But there was one strange detail. Outside of this private circle, it was as if the relationship didn't exist. Rafael never posted a photo with her on social media. When friends called to go out, he preferred to arrange meetings just between the 2 of them. When Maria asked if she could go to an event with him, the answer always came with excuses. "Oh, I don't want to mix things up. It's not the right time yet. My job is full of nosy people. I prefer to keep it discreet." At first, Maria believed these excuses. She told herself, "He just needs time. Every man has his own pace. I'm not going to pressure him." and she continued to invest energy, affection, and patience. But little by little, the weight of this situation grew. She began to notice that Rafael got nervous when someone asked about their status, that, when meeting friends, he avoided introducing Maria as his girlfriend, and that every time the subject of going public with the relationship came up, he would deflect with a smile or change the subject. Maria began to wonder, am I not good enough? Is he ashamed of me? Is there someone else? This constant doubt became a shadow inside her. Even when they were together and happy, something bothered her. The feeling of being kept secret, the feeling of being an almost, but never official. And here's the most important point. Maria was not alone in this pain. Thousands of women go through the same experience. They give themselves over, believe the sweet words, but realize that, in practice, something isn't right. And that creates a silent wound, the wound of not being recognized. Now I want you to reflect. Has something similar ever happened in your life? Have you ever been with someone who seemed incredible in private, but hid you in public? If so, know that this is not a coincidence. It is behavior. And this behavior stems from three profound truths of the male mind. To understand this better, let's look at it from the outside. Imagine a store window. Inside there are beautiful products, well lit, well organized. But some items are hidden, stored in the stockroom out of sight. The difference is not the actual value of the product, but the store owner's decision, what he wants to show, and what he prefers to hide. This is exactly what happens when a man doesn't commit to you. It doesn't mean you have no value. It means that in his mind there are reasons, some conscious, some unconscious, that make him keep you out of the window display. And here's the twist. The more Maria tried to adjust, the more Rafael kept his distance in public. The more she waited for signs, the more he reinforced his silence. Until one day, at a party, Maria discovered that Rafael was introducing another woman as someone special. That's when she understood. It wasn't about time. It wasn't about work. It wasn't about privacy. It was about his choices, guided by truths that Maria didn't yet know. And that's exactly what I want to show you here. Because when you understand the three truths of the male mind, you see beyond words. You begin to notice the hidden signs and are able to free yourself from that constant doubt. The time has come to open the first door into the male mind. And the first truth is simple but devastating. A man won't commit to you when he's not clear about how he really feels. It may seem contradictory. After all, he calls you, he seeks you out, he sends you messages, he says he likes being with you. So why does this same man who seems involved hesitate so much to make it official? The answer lies in the difference between liking you and being decided about you. A man may feel attraction, he may feel comfort, he may even feel true affection, but none of that guarantees a decision. And it is this lack of decision that creates the distance between what he says in private and what he does in public. In the male mind, committing to someone is not just about feelings. It's about taking risks, giving up options, committing to a social identity. That requires clarity. And when he doesn't have that clarity, he prefers to keep the relationship in a kind of gray area, good enough not to lose, but never solid enough to commit to. Let's think of a practical example. Imagine a man in a restaurant looking at the menu. He likes two different dishes. One has an intense flavor, the other is lighter, but also appealing. He looks at both, hesitates, and in the end orders an appetizer, something temporary, just to stave off hunger. He doesn't really decide. The same thing happens with some women in his life. He appreciates them, but can't choose. So he prefers to leave things as they are, without committing to anything. And what is the impact of this on you? The impact is that you may be in a relationship where there is closeness, but no decision, where there is affection, but no clarity. And in this scenario, you always feel that insecurity. Will he introduce me? Will he commit to me? The answer, unfortunately, is that as long as he doesn't have internal clarity, he is unlikely to take external action. It's important to understand that this indecision is not about you not being valuable. It's not that you're not good enough. Often, it's about his confusion. Men may be raised to postpone emotional decisions, to avoid definitive commitments until they are absolutely sure. And since the male mind is trained to prioritize logic and strategy, he prefers not to commit to anything, rather than commit to something and then regret it. But here's the hard truth. While you wait for him to make up his mind, you may be wasting precious time in your life. You remain in the role of almost girlfriend, almost official, almost priority, and that almost slowly erodes your self-esteem. If you've heard phrases like, "Let's take things at the right time," "I don't want labels right now," "We're fine as we are, why complicate things?" then you've already seen this first truth in action. These are phrases that hide indecision. They are words that seem careful, but in practice keep you in the shadows. And here's something that needs to be clear. When a man is really clear about you, he doesn't hide it. He doesn't beat around the bush. He doesn't avoid it. He may even be discreet, but he will acknowledge you in front of others, because when there is internal decision, there is external action. So the first truth of the male mind is this: if he doesn't commit to you, it's because he hasn't decided what you mean to him yet. And until that decision is made, you will be kept in the background with no guarantees, no recognition, and no concrete future. If the first truth is that he doesn't commit to you because he's not clear about how he really feels, the second truth is even more uncomfortable. A man doesn't commit to you when he has already decided that you are important, but not important enough for the leading role in his life. This may hurt, but it is necessary to face it. The male mind is practical. Many men, even when they are involved, categorize women into different levels of importance. Some are seen as pleasant company, others as partners for fun and intimate moments, and few enter the group of women they introduce to their family, friends, and closest social circle. And here's the cruel detail. A man may value you in many ways. He may respect you. He may even genuinely like you. But if in his mind you don't fit the image of an official partner, he will keep the relationship private. This does not mean that you don't have qualities. It just means that, according to his mental standards, you don't fit the type of partner he imagines showing off to the world. It may be because of your appearance, your lifestyle, your status, or even internal prejudices he carries. In other words, he sees you as good enough to be by his side, but not good enough to be presented as the chosen one. Here's how this plays out in practice. Imagine a man named Andre. He has been quietly dating Camila for months. He enjoys her affection, loves their moments together, and feels comfortable. But in his mind, when he thinks of a future wife, the image that appears is completely different. Perhaps a woman with a different profession, a different appearance, a different lifestyle. So, as much as he likes Camila, he will never take the step of committing to her. Because for him, Camila is important, but not enough. And that is a key point in the male mind. Men differentiate between the woman they live with now and the woman they project for the future. Often they maintain a parallel relationship between these two worlds: immediate pleasure with whoever is available, and the distant ideal with someone who has not yet appeared. And that is exactly where many women get stuck. They believe that if they wait longer, prove themselves more, demonstrate even more value, they will be able to change the place they occupy in his mind. But in reality, this second truth is relentless. If he has already categorized you as not good enough to be committed to, he is unlikely to change that view. The result of this is devastating for those on the other side. You feel used without realizing it, because he gives you affection, attention, and presence in controlled doses, but never public recognition. It's as if he's building a castle with you in private, but without letting anyone know that this castle exists. And how do you identify this second truth? Pay attention to phrases like, "You're amazing, but I don't know if you're what I'm looking for in the long run. I really like you, but I still can't imagine you in certain situations. It's not you, it's me, but I don't want to commit to anything right now." These are statements that seem gentle, but they hide a clear message. He doesn't see you as enough to occupy the central role in his life. And here's a truth that can set you free. When a man really sees you as enough, he's not afraid to show it to the world. He may have insecurities, he may have personal difficulties, but he doesn't hesitate to acknowledge you. Because a man who sees you as the right partner doesn't waste time hiding you. So the second truth about the male mind is this: if he doesn't commit to you, it may be because, in his internal rules, you are important, but not important enough for the prominent place you deserve. We have already seen that the first truth is a lack of clarity, and the second is the perception that you are important, but not enough. Now we come to the third, which is perhaps the most painful. A man does not commit to you when he has already decided to keep his options open. In the male mind, committing to someone means closing doors. It means saying no to other opportunities, choosing to stop experimenting, committing to a single story. And some men are not ready for that, not because they can't, but because they don't want to. They prefer to live in the illusion of freedom, believing that the world is still full of possibilities that cannot be wasted. This type of man may even like you. He may treat you well, make plans, and even let slip phrases like, "One day we'll make it official." But deep down he avoids committing to you because that would mean giving up all the other chances he still imagines he has. It's like someone who goes to a market, tastes various fruits, praises each one, but never takes anything home. He likes to experiment but doesn't want to commit. His mind works like this: as long as I don't commit, I remain free to meet others, talk to others, have fun without ties. The problem is that, in this game, you end up being the backup option. He keeps you around because he feels comfort, companionship, and even emotional or physical benefits, but he doesn't introduce you to the world because he doesn't want it to become official. And so he preserves the feeling that he can leave at any time, without having to be accountable. This behavior shows up in subtle attitudes. Here are some signs. He avoids talking about the future in concrete terms. He prefers casual encounters to moments that involve commitment. He always has excuses for not including you in larger social circles. He says vague things like, "Let's see how it goes," or "I don't like labels." All of these phrases are masks that hide the third truth. He doesn't want to close the door on other possibilities. And here's something many women need to hear. This has nothing to do with your worth. It's not about you being insufficient, inadequate, or wrong. It's about his desire to maintain a life without restrictions, without major responsibilities, without commitment. It's his choice, not your failure. But for you, the effect is devastating. You feel trapped with someone who never gives you security. You live waiting for the day when he will finally decide, while he lives ensuring that day never comes. It's a cycle of vague promises, fueled hopes, and constant frustrations. And the most dangerous thing about this third truth is that it can drag on for years. Some men manage to maintain long relationships without ever truly committing, always coming up with convincing excuses. They say that the time isn't right yet, that they need to sort things out in their lives, that they want to get their finances in order, that they prefer to wait. But deep down, it's just a cover to keep their options open. When you understand this, you realize that there's no point in waiting for the right time. The right time doesn't exist for someone who doesn't want to commit, because commitment doesn't come from time, it comes from decision. So if he doesn't commit to you, the third truth is this: he chooses to preserve his sense of freedom, even if it means losing you. Now that you know the three truths of the male mind, everything starts to make sense. First truth: he doesn't commit to you when he's not clear about how he really feels. Second truth: he doesn't commit to you when he's already decided that you're important, but not enough. Third truth: he doesn't commit to you when he prefers to keep his options open. Do you see how these truths explain so many behaviors that seemed confusing? The delay, the excuses, the silence, the lack of recognition. It wasn't a lack of time. It wasn't privacy. It wasn't a momentary complication. It was a choice. And that choice was guided by one of these three truths. And now comes the most important part. What do you do with this information? Knowing these truths is only valuable if you use them to change the way you position yourself. Because as long as you wait for a confused, indecisive, or selfish man to change, you are failing to be the protagonist of your own life. The first attitude you need to have is clarity about your value. When you understand that not being committed does not diminish who you are, you regain your self-esteem. You realize that the problem is not with you, but with the way he chooses to live. And from that point on, you can choose whether to continue accepting crumbs of attention or decide to demand a place of recognition. The second step is to not waste time on vague promises. Phrases like, "one day," "not now," "we'll see," are not plans. They are invisible walls to keep you waiting indefinitely. If he really wanted to, he would have done it already. And when a man wants something, there are no excuses. He finds a way. He shows it. He commits. The third attitude is to free yourself from the fear of losing someone who is no longer yours. Think about it. If a man doesn't commit to you, if he doesn't recognize you, if he doesn't make you feel secure, what exactly are you losing? You're not losing a real partner. You lose the illusion of someone who is never willing to be complete. And losing that illusion deep down is gaining the chance to experience something much better. Of course, making that decision isn't easy. There's attachment, there's hope, there's the desire to believe that with more patience he'll change. But I need to be blunt with you. Most of the time he doesn't change. And the longer you wait, the more time you fail to invest in someone who can truly offer you commitment, respect, and recognition. And here's a truth that can transform your outlook. The right man is not afraid to commit to you. He may be discreet, he may be reserved, but he will never hide you. Because hiding is a sign of doubt, and committing is a sign of decision. So, if you're in this situation, I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself a simple question. Do I deserve to be a priority, or will I continue to accept being a secret? That answer can change not only the course of your current relationship, but also the course of your entire emotional life. And before I close, I want to make something clear. Don't take these 3 truths as condemnation, but as liberation. They are not meant to sadden you, but to open your eyes, so that you understand that the problem was never your lack of value, but his inability to make real decisions. Now, it's up to you. You can continue to be stuck in a cycle of waiting, or you can use this knowledge as strength to choose a different future. The choice is in your hands. And if this content made sense to you, if you saw your own story in these words, I ask you 2 things. First, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. It could be a friend, a sister, someone you know who is experiencing the same pain. Second, leave a comment here about what moved you the most today. Which of these 3 truths opened your eyes? I want to hear your voice, because your experience can help other women too. And remember, true love does not hide. True love shows itself, embraces itself, and builds itself without fear. You were not born to be a secret, you were born to be recognized.